If I were to have a conversation with my son, which I've had many since the time before he was born till now, I would always like to talk with him about my favorite poem from Langston Hughes, Mother to Son. Um, in that poem, it talks to the son about the problems the mother had and how she was not perfect, and to let him know that while I'm not a perfect person, I would love for us to have as perfect of a relationship as we could, to have that mother to son bond. And I'm fortunate that we have established that bond. While it may not be a perfect bond, it is a bond that is solely between the two of us. To let him know that he's not perfect, and to always take ownership of his actions, be it good, bad, or indifferent. That is something I often spoke with him about, because that truly speaks to you as a person when you can take ownership of your actions. That lets people know that regardless of what the outcome may be, that you own your behavior, and that is of the utmost importance. And also to be respectful and to always put Christ first in everything, in all your decisions, in all of your thoughts, and just from the beginning of your day to always put Christ first, and let that be your guiding focal point in life. And to just have a healthy respect for your elders and for your peers, and for your family. One of the main things I've always preached to my son is family is having a relationship with your family is essential. Blood is thicker than water. You can have friends that will come and go, but your family will always be there. They are going to be your village when things are good, when things are bad. Your family is going to be the one that is going to be there to lift you up in your failures, in your triumphs. When you are facing obstacles, your family is going to be that support system that you need. And to know that it's okay to fail. You're not always going to win at life, and those failures are going to be your launching pad to your success. It's going to teach you the things that you need to grow, so that you don't repeat the same things that caused you to fail in the first place, and to use that as a learning tool, and to just love, to learn to love. That is just that's another thing that's essential. Just learning to love truly, and deeply, your family, and not to just do it in word, but to do it in action. My mom always said that love is an action, and that is something that I've taught him. You can say it all day, but if you don't show people, they're not going to truly understand the depth of your love until you show it to them. So love is just not a word, it's an action. And to just always just count your blessings. Count them. Don't take your blessings for granted. That is one thing we often spoke about. Don't take your intelligence for granted, because those same A's and B's that you're taking for granted, the next young person, if they got a C, if that struggle C was good enough for them and they rejoice in it, you should do the same. Don't ever take anything for granted that God has blessed you with. So that is conversations we've had in the past, and think conversations we continue to have in the future, and to always know that he has a support system that loves him. That is another thing that I try to make sure that he knows how often and how proud I am of him. He probably gets tired of me saying it, because I do let him know quite often that I'm one of his biggest cheerleaders, and to let him know how proud I am of all of his accomplishments, be it big or small. I'm always proud of everything he's done, and to also just remember what he was taught from day one, to always just the yes ma'ams, the no ma'ams, just to be polite. It takes you a long way. So and I'm glad to see that he does have that in his system, in his core, to just be polite. So that is one of the things that I'll tell him to continue to carry throughout life, that, you know, that is going to get him a long ways when you're just simply polite to people. So, and in this current day, it is almost sad that regardless of how polite you are, he's always going to be seen as a threat simply by the color of his skin. It doesn't matter if he carries himself with a certain demeanor, he will always be seen as a threat. So just to keep that in mind, to be mindful of his surroundings, and even know, just to know that regardless, someone is going to see him as less than, but to know that we've never taught him to be less than, and to always know that he was put here by God, and that he's enough. That's simple and plain, that he is enough. So if I had to have conversations with him, that would be what I had to tell him, to know that he's enough, that he's loved, and that he's a child of God.
And at this point in time, what would be your biggest fear for him?
My biggest fear is that someone will not see him as I see him. I know what he is. I know what he's capable of. But others just see him as a threat. So that is my biggest fear, that as a young black man, they don't see that he's young, gifted, and black. They only see him as being black. And to that, in and of itself, is a threat.
All right. Thank you.